That's his first weakness. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleased me well. Not only did he disobey the Lord, because, they didn't believe in that. He was supposed to stay with his own kind. Not being with going after a woman of the enemy. But even his parents tell him. And he disobeys his parents. Sad to say, if we're not careful in this world, there'll be things we look upon and we won't.
That's true.
God says you ain't supposed to have it. We go after it anyway. You may need a vehicle. But that don't mean you need a $50,000 vehicle.
Amen. That's right.
And if we go after something that ain't supposed to be ours, we're going to be wound up in bonds. We're going to wind up with a high car payment that we can't hardly afford. But God would have blessed us with an economical car that we could afford.
Amen.
He had a car for us. But instead of taking what He had for us, go out and get something that we want. He said He would supply our need according to His riches and glory. And He will. But we have to be so careful for what our wants.
Amen.
The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. They'll get us every time if we ain't careful. We better stay close to God.
Amen.
We can't be wandering nowadays, because we will wind up in a mess. And we know old Samson wound up getting himself in a mess. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Now that don't mean that was part of God's plan. Have you ever been in a place where you went to do something God told you no? And you kept on and you kept on and you kept on, and God said, You're going to do it, so go do it. Not that that was necessarily part of His plan, but there's that free will that fits into the equation. God can tell us, and God can tell us no all He wants. But we have to choose to say, Okay, Lord, I'm not going to do it.
That's right.
Instead of Samson saying, Okay, Lord, I'm not going to do it, he said, Okay, Lord, I want this woman. I want her. She's going to be mine. And the Lord said, Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Then Samson went down, and his father and his mother, to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down, talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hand, and he went on eating, and came to his father and mother, gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. Once again, we see his strength come upon a lion, tore it apart like it wasn't nothing, barehanded. That just shows that was God. Then he goes and spends a little time with that woman. Decides he's going to marry her. But he goes back to his mother and father, and on the way he sees that old carcass. The bees have old honey in there, and he just snatches it right out. That's an unclean thing. If that carcass is unclean, so is that honey.
Amen.
He's not supposed to touch or eat any unclean thing.
Right. Well, that's right.
But you can get haughty and high-minded And he let that strength go to his head. It was a gift from God.
Yes, it was.
And it was supposed to be used to deliver the people of Israel.
Yes,
That's why God sent him. But he forgot about his people for a little while and thought of himself. We ain't careful sometimes, we can get a little selfish. Lord, but I want it. Be like a 2-year-old, pitch a temper tantrum.
Yes.
These kids in the stores nowadays, I'm telling you, I'm just saying, Lord, it drives me crazy sometimes. They'll scream, they'll holler, they'll kick, whatever they can do to get somebody's attention so they can get what they want. But instead of giving in to them, children need a little bit of discipline sometimes.
Amen.
But old Samson, he didn't care. He thought he was something now. He was the stud. And he disobeyed God. Because that was never supposed to touch his hand or his lips. Any unclean thing. Fed it to his mother and his father. Never told him where it came from.
Shameful he's done that.
Shameful. But he did. Never told them. They didn't know what was going on. And so his father and his mother went into the woman and sent the maid there a feast, for she used the young man to do so. And it came to pass when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets, or we could say linens, and 30 changes of garments. Another weakness. Fraternizing with the enemy. These ain't 30 Israelites, these are 30 Philistines.
Right.
Done made friends with them.
I like that.
God was to send him to deliver those people.
Yes.
He gave him that strength to fight. But instead of using it to fight, he's using it to be their best friend.
To impress.
Hanging out with them, yeah. Impress them. All because of a woman. This woman that he ain't supposed to be going after in the first place.
Right.
That's right, amen.
So he throws them out of a riddle. Out of the eater came forth meat, out of the strong came forth sweetness, and they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. Now he gave them 7 days to do it. But that woman that he so desired betrayed him. Because those men went to her, give us the answer to the riddle, so we may know it's him. And sure enough, she told him. Now this is the woman that he loved so much, has done betrayed him. So when the 7 days is up, they answer the question. And of course we know the riddle was, it was the honey that was in the carcass. He didn't think anybody else knew about it. But he had trusted her. And he had told her the answer to the riddle. So guess what? He gets a little angry. And he takes that strength, which he was supposed to use to destroy his enemies. But out of anger, he goes and kills 30 other Philistines, takes their clothes, and gives it to the men that he had promised. Now this anger that he showed is starting to start a downward spiral. We know the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He will repay, not us. Now Samson's getting ready to start down a path that is not pleasant. Gave way to anger. We have to be so careful. many of you think it's hard to become angry? It ain't hard at all. It's very easy. Our flesh, somebody says something we don't like, our flesh will rile up in about 2 seconds. Not even think twice about it. But we got to be so careful. So what happens? I'm going to jump down. I kind of went over all that, so I'm not going to go over. In verse 20, but Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. Or you could say he was going to be the best man at his wedding. And her father done handed her over. After all of that, she was given to another. All because going after something he shouldn't have went after in the first place. So he didn't get it anyway. Well, guess what? He's still angry. Still mad. Well, I'm going to keep going. I might be able to finish it this morning. I'm in chapter 15 now. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid, and he said, I will go into my wife and into her chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go, because her father done give her away. So he tries to give him the other daughter. We've seen that story before. 7 years worked for a daughter. Got the wrong one. Worked 7 more years to get the one he wanted. Samson ain't going to do that. He wants what he wants, and that's all he wants. Now Samson said concerning them, I'm in verse 3, I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. Now he's justifying what he's getting ready to do. Like I said, God said, vengeance is mine. I'll take care of it. Old Samson ought to be the head of an army going after the enemies. But all he can worry about is this woman. That's all he's got on his mind. So he thinks, I'll show them. He gets 300 foxes, ties them tail to tail, ties them in pairs. And puts a fire band in the midst between the 2 tails and sets them loose. Burns up all their fields, their olive orchard. He sets everything ablaze. Now he thinks he's got revenge on them. He showed them. He burned it all down. But now that just gets them started. So now they mad. So they take his wife, or soon-to-be wife we should say, and his father, and burns them. Now she's dead. Now she's dead. Let me make sure I ain't getting ahead of myself, because I have been known to do that. Okay, we're right on track. Be patient with me, because sometimes I do get ahead of myself. So now, Judah says, we're turning you over. Giving you over to your enemy, to our enemy, which is supposed to be their enemy. They're supposed to be fighting with them. But now they're going to turn Samson over. They bound him up, send him on his way. Leave him there.